Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Black Hammer once again. Before we get started, like always, like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, go ahead, leave a comment down below saying what's up. I greatly appreciate it. Now let's go ahead and get into part 3 of these spoilers today. Let's go. Alright guys, so thank you for taking the time to watch these spoilers. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these in bulk, so I'm not doing like 3-4 videos a day talking about 2-3 cards. So I definitely appreciate it, because I'm pretty sure everybody that's on YouTube already probably covered some of this, but you already know my slogan: if Hammer doesn't approve it, then your ass probably shouldn't use it. So just take it from me, I love to make nothing or something out of nothing, so I'm never going to tell you not to use a card, but I will strongly advise to use a card or not to use a card. So let's go ahead and just kind of get into how I kind of do things just real quick. Here is, boom, right there, one hammer. That's for mainly drafting cards that is on the lower end. It might just be like a filler to kind of fix out your curve, but it's just an all right card. You know what I'm saying? Is playing something is better than nothing when you're drafting. So this is mainly for those cards. Then we got two hammers. This is the higher end of draft cards. These are the ones that you will normally pick out, you know, number 1 or number 2 when you're opening a drafting pack. I tried to filter out some of those, because right now I think I'm doing like 40 something cards today. So I tried to filter out some of the lower end drafting cards. So, you know, we kind of see how that worked. 3 hammers is mainly cards that you will see in standard, but once again, it's just a filler. It might be like spot removal that may cost 4 mana, but it'll kind of fit into your deck just to fit the curve. So these are those kind of cards there. And then of course we got 4 hammers. Boom, right there. This is the cards that you want to build around, cards that will change the course of a game for you. These are the cards that you will actually spin wild cards to get. So hopefully we will get some 4 hammers today. So let me go ahead, set this up. Boom, right there. So this is our first card, and most of these cards I'm just now reading for the first time. So if you see me thinking, that's me, you know, using my brain to think. So this is 3-drop Sorcery Lesson, basic conjunction, whatever. It's a 3-drop Sorcery Speed Lesson, which hopefully we're gonna be seeing more lessons, because that will be awesome for best of 1 players, because then you actually have something to kind of look in your sideboard without using Fail Wishes or some of the sagas that is really too particular to build around. So this is Sorcery Speed Lesson. It says, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order, and you gain 3 life. So this is good, I guess, if you're looking, I mean obviously if you're looking for a card, a creature card, you can't specifically look for card. You can look at the top 6, which sometimes, and I've seen it, you may get no creature cards in a top 6. So you don't want to spend 3 mana, get a 1-drop mana dork, and get 3 life, and then some of the other 5 cards you actually might want to keep or draw is put on the bottom of your library. So I don't know if this is worth, I mean, maybe 1 copy is always good. I mean, you don't know what situation you're going to find yourself in, but gaining 3 life is probably the best part of this whole card. So I'm going to give this a boom, 1 hammer. There you go. And it's a rare. To me, that's a little weird, but I mean, I'm not a Magic professional, you know what I'm saying? I do kick a lot of butt on the Magic, so, you know, but to me, this is definitely a 1 hammer. This is a 1-drop charge through instant speed, finally a 1-drop instant speed, and it says target creature gains trample until end of turn, draw a card. Now I kept this one in the spoiler, you know, that we're doing here, because I believe with all the new mechanics and with everything kind of revolving around instants and sorcery speeds and things kind of triggering off of that, 1-drop instant speeds is going to be key, because one, it's a combat trait, or maybe not this one. I mean, it gains trample, but you can kind of build off of this and copy it, put it onto another creature, and then that creature will trigger and put +1 counter. So you know, just kind of with the curve and with, you know, everything kind of how Magic is kind of set up, you want things to be cheap, instant speed, and it replaces itself too, and your creature can gain trample. And my rule is you can have a 99 token creature with flying indestructible. It doesn't mean anything if you don't have trample. You know what I'm saying? It can easily get just chump block with a 1/1 flying token. You know what I'm saying? So trample is extremely important, and it replaces itself, and it's instant speed. So I think that's going to be very important. So this one right here is going to get 2 hammers, because yes, it's not a game changer, but it will start the process of things triggering off. So let's go ahead, go to the next one here. We got Closing Statement. This is a 5-drop instant speed uncommon, and it says this spell costs 2 less to cast during your end step. It says destroy target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Oh, okay. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. In conclusion, that's the bottom text right there. I didn't just make that up. So this one right here is pretty interesting. The top part right there says this spell costs 2 less to cast during your end step. So they're trying to make this an end step, because once again, this can you can swing in with all your creatures, and your opponent may not block certain creatures, and then you can play this instant speed and boom boom start triggering off. So they're like, hey, if you want to pay 5, go ahead, but if you want the discount, you got to play this at the end of your turn, which is not bad. We normally play our instant spells on our opponent's turn or at the end of their turn, so you know, it's not too bad. But once again, they're trying to kind of, I guess, balance some things out. But I'm pretty sure, unless it's a dire situation, don't nobody want to pay 5, you know. But I will give this a 2 hammer. It's decent, but I'm pretty sure for 3 instant speed removal, you can find something that's a little bit more consistent. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead, go to the next one here. We have Crackle with Power. It's a XXX, triple, because you know it's supposed to be a choke. In 2 red, sorcery mythic card. Crackling with Power deals 5 times X damage to each of up to X targets. Now, I'm assuming you can do face damage with this, because it doesn't particularly say creature or creature and planeswalker. So I guess, yeah. And I haven't really played anything with XXX, so I'm assuming you have to pay 3 X's to do 1 damage, or 5 times 1 damage, so that'll be 5, but total you're paying 7. I don't know, someone who's a little bit smarter than me is gonna have to explain that to me, but I don't think it's a mythic, you know, mythic type of card. If you can hit face and you do have all that extra mana from ramping or whatever, then yeah, and then you can hit face, go ahead, do it, copy that spell, do 20 something damage to face. Cool. If that's the case, I would give this a 3 hammer. If not, there's a lot of cards that is almost similar to this and no one uses it, especially in historic. It's a whole bunch and ain't nobody using it. So at the least this will be 2, at the highest this will be 3. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. Decisive Denial. It is Simic colors. I looked up the colors. Instant speed, and it says choose 1. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Simple. Or target or counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 3. So this right here, I think, is going to be in control builds, Simic builds definitely, because it's cheap, instant speed, and it'll start the the mage craft mechanics, because if you cast an instant or sorcery or copy a spell, things start triggering off. So why not counter your opponent's non-creature spell and get a +1 counter on one of your creatures or whatever? So I'm saying this one's definitely going to be played for real. So 3 hammers for sure. Then we got Devastating Mastery, and that is 6 drop. I'm trying to look, it's a little blurry. I'm pretty sure it's really blurry for you guys, but it's sorcery speed, and I believe that's a rare or an uncommon, one of the two. It might be a rare. And it says you may pay 4 rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Okay. If the 4 cost was paid, an opponent chooses up to 2 non-land permanents they control and return them to their hand. Okay. Or you can pay the 6 and destroy all non-land permanents. I get it. If this costed 8, I could understand, like, but 6, who's gonna want to have their opponents take 2 things and put them back into their hand? Unless they're tokens, then I totally get it. But just, you know, make sure you have enough lands in your deck, maybe 26, and pay 6 and destroy all non-land permanents, and they don't get nothing back. But I do understand what they're trying to do, make it a little bit cheaper. But I mean, this is pretty cheap already. Just wait a couple turns, destroy everything, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna give this one a 4 hammer. 4 only because destroy all non-land permanents, and you're playing a control deck, and it only costs 6. The one that's in standard now is the dual. It has a land on the other side. That costs like 8 or 9 or something ridiculous. So obviously you're gonna pay this. What will make this even better if it was a lesson card, or yeah, a lesson card where you can pull from your sideboard and put this into your hand. That'll make this totally even more crazier. But yeah, I'm gonna get at a 4. Then we got double major Simic colors. Once again, Simic is getting a lot of good stuff. Instant speed rare. And it says copy target creature spell you control, except it isn't legendary if the spell is legendary. Now that is important because the 4-drop or overall or whatever his name is, hopefully I remember to put the picture up there, but if not, he's a 4-drop, and every time you target one of your creatures with a instant or sorcery, you make a copy of that creature. This one, I mean, you can't target itself because it's legendary and but this one you can have 2 of them. So imagine having 2 of those creatures and you target a questing beast. You're gonna get like 4 questing beasts or something ridiculous, bro. But this one right here, definitely interesting. I'm giving this a 3 hammer. It's not gonna change the game dramatically, but it will definitely put things in your favor if you cast it on the right creature. So boom, there it is. Then we got Dramatic Final. It's a 4-drop black white dual, I guess, mana cost or whatever. It's an enchantment rare, and it says creature tokens you control get +1/+1. So they're trying to push the tokens out, which I appreciate. I love tokens. And this will actually fit in my historic build. Okay, says whenever one or more non-token creatures you control would die, create a 2/1 white and black ink, yeah, with flying. Oh my gosh, yeah, this one. Now it does play safe. At the end it says this ability triggers only once each turn. So if you're gonna do like a mass board wipe on, you know, your non-token creatures, and then, you know, get all these tokens, do it. But don't like spot removal your one creature and then spot removal your other creature thinking this is going to trigger. It doesn't work like that. So it does play safe, so it's not totally just busted, but it does work, and it only costs 4. That's actually pretty good. So I'm gonna give this one a 3 because I'm not sure if tokens is really going to be like that, but it does have great potential, and trust me, Hammer is gonna test it out for real. Then we got Essence Infusion. It's a 2-drop sorcery speed, and it says put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains lifelink to end of turn. It's a uncommon, or a common, right? Yeah, a common sorcery speed. It's nothing special, but I do like that black is getting a lot more counter abilities. You know what I'm saying? Usually it's just with the white or mainly with green, but now black is actually going to be a +1/+1 type build. So you might even just go full mono black counters. You know what I'm saying? It might actually work. So, you know, it's just, you know, interesting card. So definitely a 2-hammer for sure, at least in my books. Then we got Expel. It's a 3-drop instant speed. Exile target tap creature. Now it does cost 3. Yes, instant speed, beautiful. Exile target tap creature, so you might have to, you know, like, hopefully your opponent doesn't have vigilance, because then you're screwed. That's like the only thing. Or if your opponent knows you have this in your hand, then they're not gonna attack. Then you still got that, you know, creature that might have passive abilities that might beat you. I'm pretty sure there's something out there, but it exiles the creature, which is very important. So I'm going to give this one definitely a 2, because I don't know if people are going to play this in their main build, but hey, who knows? Who knows? All right, we got Fracture. Okay, now this is a different language, but I'm assuming it says Fracture, and it's is black white, instant speed. I'm guessing here, I'm kind of putting some things together. And it says destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker objectivo. So you pretty much get the picture. If this is a real card, this is going to be amazing. So I'm gonna give this one, if it's real, 3. Boom, there it is right there. Then we got Inkling Summoning. It's a 3-drop sorcery lesson. And it says create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. Now I put this in here once again. It's not like oh my god, like I gotta craft this. It's a common, so I'm pretty sure you're gonna have like a million of this. But I do like the lesson because it gives you the possibility to pull from your sideboard on a best of 1 game and make tokens if you need it. That will help your token build. So this one, definitely a 2 at the best. Then we got Leyling Innovation. It's a 6-drop sorcery speed. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of lands you control. This one right here is a beautiful finisher. Beautiful finisher. And not only will it, Heartless Act is going to have a hard time in standard, in my opinion, because there's so many things getting +1/+1 counters, instant speed, sorcery speed, passive abilities. It's gonna have a hard time. And this one right here makes a land. No, it makes a token, and it's based off the number of lands you control. And if you play this on curve, you're gonna have a 6/6 green fractal, whatever the hell that looks like. But if you play this in a later game, like turn 10, 11, and you're kind of hitting your mana, this is going to be an issue. But of course, it could die to just about everything else. But I think it was pretty interesting because it's a common. They didn't make this a rare normally like they would. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm going to give that one 2 at the best. Boom, there it is. All right, we have Mascot Interception. Boom, right there. So 4-drop sorcery speed. It says this spell costs 3 less to cast if it targets a creature token. Wow, creature token. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. So once again, they're pushing tokens, and this is kind of a card to kind of put a balance to some token things, I guess. But if you don't target, then you're paying 4, so it could just cost 1. So hopefully your opponent has some, you know, tokens to take, or you're gonna be paying 4. So it's pretty decent. I'm gonna give it a 2, especially with the Rakdos sack decks out there. I'm pretty sure you're gonna put a couple copies of this into their build because, hey, I think there's going to be a lot of tokens out there to steal for sure. Then we got Mentor's Guidance. It's a 3-drop sorcery speed, and it says when you cast a spell, copy it if you control a planeswalker, cleric, druid, shaman, warlock, or wizard. Like, okay, that's like half a standard, but it's cool. Scry 1, then draw a card. So this will be better if it was a lesson card. Like, if you want to fill up your 3 drops with it, I don't know if I would. I'm more of a hard removal, type, counters. Drawing, I rather have that to be like, my 1 drop, maybe 2, keep those low curve. But this one right here, once again, someone smarter than me might be able to be like, hey, this card is broken because we're gonna da-da-da-da-da, which is cool. It copies it, so it'll trigger. I wonder if it'll trigger twice the mage craft mechanics because you're casting a sorcery and you're copying the spell if you have whatever is on a card. Good question. But I'm gonna get this a 2 at the most because, yeah, I mean, I'm not like doing backflips over it, but somebody is out there. Then we got, this card is pretty good, Owlin Shield Mage. It's a 5-drop bird warlock, which might be a tribal with flying, and it has ward, and it's pay 3 life, and it's a 3/3. So the stats is pretty cool. And it says whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays 3 life. So if your opponent wants to spot removal or do some sort of abilities to this card, they got to pay 3 life, which, if you're doing some sort of taxing type build, this will fit perfect. So I'm gonna get this. Damn, I'm gonna have to give it a 2, maybe a 3, maybe. It costs 5, so that's a little pricey. 5 drops is supposed to be damn near close to ending the game type creatures. This is definitely not gonna end the game, but it'll definitely do something in drafting because it's flying first off, and evasion is very important in drafting. So a 2 at the most. All right, we have Serpentine Curve. All right, it's a 4-drop sorcery speed, and it says create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is 1 plus the total number of instants and sorceries cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. So no more, your opponent exiling cards from your graveyard, put them into exile, thinking that, that's gonna hurt your plan. No, bro, that counts the exile and graveyard. So this will guarantee that you're gonna have something. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have a decent token creature out there. But if your opponent steals it with the card we just seen, you're kind of screwed. So I'm gonna get this a 2. It's cute. I mean, it might be a 2 of in the deck, but it's definitely cute. All right, we have Show the Confidence. Boom, right like that. It's a 2-drop instant speed, uncommon. It says when you cast a spell, copy it for each other instant and sorcery spell you've cast this turn. You may choose new targets for the copy, and the ability is put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains vigilance until end of turn. So this is what I meant with the combat tricks. You want, like, just for example, if it's turn 5 and you have 4 or 5 mana open, you don't want to cast your first spell to be like 3, a 3, and then you pay this one, then you get, the 1 copy. But if you can cast something that costs 1, and then cast another thing that costs 1, and then 2 of these right here or whatever, then you can kind of get a little bit more momentum with this card. So to me, once again, the instant speeds that cost 1 or 2 mana is going to be really important for cards like this. So I think 2 at the least if someone doesn't know how to use it. But if you really put your mind to it and make this card really work, it's going to be a 3, hands down, like 630, trust me. Then we got Square Up. Oh, we want to square up like that, you know, like she doing a little, okay. But it's a 2-drop, instant speed, and it says target creature has base power and toughness 4/4 until end of turn. Instant speed is very important. This will help, you know, your little 1/1 creatures, or, you know, a little punk token that you got. Boom, you swing in, your opponent thinks that, you know, you're gonna chump block, you know what I'm saying? Then boom, you got a 4/4 automatically. Bam, and then things start triggering off. Like, bro, once again, this is a 2 at the least, but if you make this work into a build that's kind of based around this, you know, has base power, and I said based around, 3 at the most, 2 at the least. So I think that's pretty fair. Then we got Umbryle Juke. They could have just called it Juke. That would have been cool too. But he stiffed our Ogre. She's just like, but it costs 3 instant speed. Once again, that's beautiful. And it says choose one. Target player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, or create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. So this kind of fills in if you need your opponent to sacrifice a creature, or you just need to make a creature. So it's kind of just, you know, choose whichever one you want. So once again, this is at the best 2 in drafting, I think so. Boom. Then we got Vanishing Bursts. It's a black white instant speed, and it says exile target monocolored permanent. Now, interesting enough, there's a lot of interesting dual colors, or triple colors, or even 4 colors. So this one right here is going to be very interesting. If it was a lesson card, that'd be cool, because if your opponent's playing all these double color cards, then this is kind of just sitting there. Maybe monocolor permanent, so it could really touch planeswalkers, artifacts, all that good stuff. But if your opponent isn't, this really just going to be sitting in your hand. So it would have been better if this was a lesson card. Then you can, you know, play a learn card, pull this from your sideboard, and then boom, now you're good. But you know, it's rare. I don't know if you want to craft it, but to me, this is going to be 2 at the least, 3 at the best. Boom, there it is. Then we got Accomplished Alchemist. It's a 4-drop creature, rare, 2/5. I like the toughness. And you can tap, add 1 mana of any color, so that helps you with your ramping. Or you can tap it, add X mana of any 1 color, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. If you are playing a ramp where you're gaining life, you're good to go with this. It's a 4-drop. It is, but the toughness is worth it. If it was a 2/3, I kick this card across the street. But the toughness is pretty decent. It can block, it can take the bolt. So to me, this is pretty good. So I'm gonna give this a 3, a solid 3 hammers. Then we got Argumentor Pugilist, whatever. I don't know what that, but he looks very upset. But it's a 3-drop Troll Druid, trample 3/3. As long as you control 8 or more lands, gets 5/5. I don't know why he's so angry. This is actually a really good card. Good for the late game, obviously, because you can't pay 3 for a 3/3. That's pretty basic. But when you have 8 or more lands, if you're ramping, this is a good card to ramp to. So, wow, man. I'm going to give it a 3 at the least. But if you're playing smart and you pull this late game and it has trample built into it, bro, this is a 4 for sure. 3 at the least. If you play turn 3 and it gets bolted, then yeah, good job. But if you play this on turn 8 and you hit your 8 counters or you're ramping, it's definitely gonna be a problem. That's what, 5, 8, and 8 with trample. Psh, bro, throw some hex proof on this, you're good to go. All right, let's go to the next one. We have Body of Research. It's a 6-drop, triple green, triple blue. Pretty tough. It says create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your library. Okay, where X is the number of cards in your library. And it costs 6? Wow. This one right here is going to be annoying. Now, check this out. I'm playing the control build. I have 4 of these in my deck, so I can make sure I get it. I'm pretty sure there's some cards out there, a sorcery, instant, something, a creature, anything that will get this card into my hand when I need it. And there is a black creature, but I'm pretty sure there's a blue green. I'll have to look, but give this hex proof or give some protection, like some counter spells or something. And trample, oh, bro, this one right here, I'm going to make this a 4 hammer. This just, and play like 250 cards, like play max amount of cards that you can play on Arena in a build. And I want to see 100 creature token out there. I don't care if you lose the game. That is impressive right there. I said it, damn it, I said it. All right, we have Eureka Moment. Oh, Eureka, okay, I get it. Eureka Moment. So 4-drop, instant speed, draw 2 cards. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Good, I like it, and it's a common, and it's a good ramp card. You might be able to put 1, maybe 2 into your build for this, but I think this is a pretty solid card. 2 for sure, but if you're trying to go strong with the ramp, especially with the card that we just seen, this will be a 3 for sure. Then we got Leonin Light Scriber. Got you. It's a 2-drop, 2/2 creature, so I guess. And it says whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery speed spell, a sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 to end of turn. So I put this in here because it's a rare. Why is it a rare? Maybe if you're trying to go wide with some tokens, maybe. I don't know. I want to give this, I would give this a 1, maybe 2. I'm gonna give it a 2, bro. It just dies to everything. Like, I don't know why would they make this a rare? I don't get it. This is a common at the least. All right. Serpentine. We already talked about Serpentine. Now this is the other side to the 3-drop 3/3, and if you have 8 or more lands, it's a 8/8. So Nas needs to go ahead and sponsor a brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying. But this is a 5-drop sorcery speed. Choose target creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of it until end of turn, except those creatures aren't legendary. Great job. If the chosen creature card is legendary. It's 5. If you're playing tokens, I'm gonna say 3, 4 at the best. This is one of those cards, depending on how well you build around it, it could be that good. This card can be as good as the builder. You know what I'm saying? And they call me the Black Bob the Builder. So of course your boy Black Hammer is gonna make this amazing. So 3 at the least if you don't have a good creature to copy, and you may have 1 or 2, but if you can make a nice army and choose the right creature, it could be a 4. This would definitely change the game for real, for real. All right, next we have Guilelith Prismarine, something like that. Y'all gonna have to figure that one out on yourself. But it's a 4-drop legendary creature, Elder Dragon, and it's a mythic rare, of course, and it's a 3/4. So paying for 4, you're not gonna get some 6/6 or something crazy. So it's understandable why it's a 3/4. And it has flying, and it says when this creature enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Got it. And it says artifacts you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast an instant or sorcery spell. So it is decent. Now I definitely could see turn 5 playing Gold Span Dragon. Now your treasure tokens are actually worth a little bit more. I wish he produced treasure tokens that you can add 2 mana, but if not, you play this on turn 5 and then you get a treasure token and you have the extra mana to protect it. I get that, but play this on curve, it might get smoked next turn. You know what I'm saying? Unless that 1 mana you can make it work. Other than that, it's gonna have some problems surviving. So to me, this is probably the least of my favorite dragons. So a 3 at the most. Like it's not gonna change the game. It's not gonna like really make your opponent shake and shiver. Like chump block this a couple turns and you're good. So yeah, it's cute. Then we got Baleful Mastery. I could swear I already talked about this card, or maybe I didn't. All right, so it's an instant speed rare, and it costs 4, and it says you may pay 2 rather than pay this spell's mana cost. If you pay 2 and an opponent draws a card, exile target creature or planeswalker. So I'm pretty sure everybody is going to let their opponents draw a card, unless you just got the 4 mana, boom. But I would rather still pay 2 mana and let my opponent draw a card to exile a creature or planeswalker. So, and it's a rare. Now, if this was a mythic, I would completely understand. But 3 at the least, but 4 because everybody and their mama is going to, I guarantee you, let you draw a card to exile a creature or planeswalker. It should have said you pay 2, you can exile a creature or planeswalker with mana cost 3 or less, or pay the full price and exile anything. That would have been more like, dang, do I really gotta pay the, but ain't nobody gonna be worried about your opponent drawing a card and you can exile their Liliana or their Ugin or whatever. Like, that's pretty simple to decide. Then we got Verdant Magistry. So I'm guessing all these colors are gonna have their own version of this. So this is a 6-drop rare. You may pay 4 rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Search your library for up to 4 basic land cards and reveal them. Put one of them onto the battlefield, tapped under an opponent's control. Put one of them onto the battlefield, tapped under an opponent's control if the 4 was paid. So you're looking up 4 basic lands and giving your opponent one of them. Okay. Put 2 of them onto the battlefield, tapped under your control, and the rest into your hand. Okay, so you're paying 4 to really get 3 mana, and one of them 2 of them are being put onto the battlefield. So once again, I'm pretty sure an opponent's maybe won't care if you get that extra land, because you get 2 lands onto the battlefield and a land into your hand, only for 4. So that's going to be hell of a turn, but 3 at the least, because mana is definitely something a little bit more careful you want to give your opponent. But 4 at the best. Like, if you give your opponent a land and your next turn is just going to be phenomenal, and you don't care if your opponent gets that land, you're good. So kind of depends on the situation, I guess. So I mean, you give me a land, bro, I'm gonna make it count. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put it to use. So you may not want that. All right, we have Exus Overlord. I don't know why they could have just took that middle name out and just named this dude Overlord. Like, that would have been gangster enough right there. But the art is tight. The art is banging for real. And it costs 4. And the other side, we got to remember to look at, it's a 6. It costs 8. Wow. All right. So double strike, 2/4, Magecraft, and it says whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, return target non-legend creature from your graveyard to your hand. So that's pretty dope. Okay, I'm gonna give this one a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4 because it has double strike, so it's not just some punk. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna actually have to throw something at this, and it has the toughness of 4, so you can't just bolt your way out of this situation. You actually got to deal with this creature either with, you know, spot removal or board wipe. But if you don't, and your opponent starts casting off, this is gonna be pretty daggone hard to deal with. So 4 at the best. Like, you really got to build around this card. Then we got Flamethrower Sonata, something like that. So 2 draw sorcery speed, discard a card, then draw a card. When you discard an instant or sorcery card this way, Flamethrower deals damage equal to that card's mana value to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Now, once again, we gotta look on the other side, because I don't know why this is a rare, but maybe the other side is a rare and it's like, I get it. But if you can aim this to any target, that would be better. But, you know, is it that side? Okay, so let's read this side and then we'll rate this card. So 4 drop, Torrent Sculptor, 4 drop, 2/2, already whack. And it has ward 2. So if you, I believe ward is if you target, your opponent has to pay 2 life. So I get it. Maybe I get it. I will shock the hell out of this and pay 2 life. When it enters the battlefield, exile an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on this creature equal to half that card's mana value rounded up. So only when it enters the battlefield. So if you have a shock, you get 1. But if you have, like, you know, some board wipe, like what is it, Doomscar, you exile that out of your library, it gets half, so it gets 3. So all of a sudden you got a 5/5, and your opponent has to pay 2 life to, you know, deal with it, murder it, or whatever you wanna play. It's cool. I see why it's a rare. Definitely a rare. So I'm gonna give this one a 3 at the most. It's cute. It will do some things, but it doesn't have hexproof. So, you know, you want to do all that, you know, look at me and bam, bam, and I pay 2 life and murder it. And guess what? That was your turn 4 right there. So 3 at the most. All right, so we have Culmination of Studies. The art is pretty tight. I actually like that. I'm wondering who that is. So it's a blue-red with X, sorcery speed, rare. And it says exile the top X cards of your library. For each land card exiled this way, create a treasure token. Beautiful. For each blue card exiled this way, draw a card. For each red card exiled this way, this card deals 1 damage to each opponent. This is a good finisher. If your opponent, if you've been doing, your due diligence, and your opponent's at like 6 life, you know what I'm saying, and you have 8 lands, maybe. That's kind of rough. That's kind of rough because then you get like a whole bunch of tokens. So this one right here is really should have been a lesson card, honestly, because you don't want to. You may not get what you want. You know what I'm saying? But if it was a lesson, you can get what you need. Oh my God, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. All right, so two at the, I don't know, 2 hammers, bro. Like it's cute. The art is banging, bro. But I really don't see this like, bam, look at that. Like you want to pay 6 lands, tap all your lands and maybe refill your hand, get some tokens and do some damage, but you may not really do the mode that you want. If your opponent has 3 life and you want to deal 3 damage, you might get 4 lands in a row and get a whole bunch of treasure tokens. You're like, why? I need to do 2 more damage. Yeah, 2 hammers. All right, we have Strixhaven Stadium. This card is very, very interesting. You can pay 3 and it's an artifact and it's a rare. Tap it, add a colorless mana, put a point counter on Strixhaven Stadium. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, remove a point counter from Strixhaven Stadium. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, put a point counter on Strixhaven Stadium. Then if it has 10 or more point counters on it, remove them all and that player loses the game. I get it. I like it. It's interesting. It's definitely something fun to build around because I'm pretty and it's a colorless land, so it kind of can fit into just really anything. Once again, if it was a lesson, cool. But if you really put this in your build and it's a 3-drop, you might have 2-3 of these maybe. That's really going to like take I don't know. It's a fun way to win a game. I don't think it's gonna be like everybody's playing it and it's in the top 5 builds. Like I'm gonna say 3 at the most. Definitely fun. It gets that extra hammer because it looks fun as hell to play, and I at least need to make a video where I'm winning like a couple games with this. Other than that, that's pretty much all it's for. It's just a copy, the movie with the kid with the thunder thing on his face. Yeah, we have expression iteration. Yeah, something like that. It works. It sounds good. All right, it is blue-red sorcery speed, and it says look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, put one of them on the bottom of your library, and exile one of them. You may play the exile card this turn. That's cool. I like it. Sorcery speed, I get it. If it was instant, it would be better, obviously, but I get it. Sorcery speed, you don't want all that instant and it just be crazy after that. But I like it a lot. Maybe a 2 at the, cause yeah, you got to make sure you have some extra manas to play the card that you get in your hand. Then a card that's in exile, especially if it's a good card, you don't want to just let that thing just go away at the end of your turn. So I get it. I like it. Yeah, we like it. All right, team Pennant. 1-drop artifact enchantment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. It has vigilance and trample. Cool. Equipped creature token costs 1. Equipped for anything else is 3. So once again, they're pushing the tokens. You can have a 3/2 spirit, I think is what a 3/2 in this set is. And then all of a sudden you got a 4/3 with trample and vigilance. So great card. It's colorless, so it'll fit all kind of colors. You know, it doesn't discriminate, and it costs 1. So you can pay 1, get it on the field, pay 2, equip it to your token, and you're good to go. So I like it. Oh shoot, I like it. 2 at the most, but 3 if it's put into the right hands. 3 if it's put into the right hands. All right, we have Mage Hunter. This is a 4-drop horror creature with 3/4 body. And it says whenever an opponent casts or copies an instant or sorcery spell, they lose 1 life. Now this card right here I like because this is the anti-instance of sorceries. If you like, you know what, this whole set is stupid, I don't like it, I just want to beat everyone who is playing these stupid cards, and this will be the card to do it. It's almost like the from Kaldheim, the flying god creature, where every snowland comes in tapped, or every snow permanent comes in tapped. That's kind of like the anti set, you know what I'm saying? So this one right here will ping your opponent every time they want to be all fancy and cute and start copying this and that. Like, nah, play, you're gonna be losing 1 life every time you want to show off and be cute. So this card right here I think will be fun to play. Like, if you can have more copies of this card, that'd be cool. So I'm gonna give this a 2, 3 at the best if you really try hard to build around this, but 2 at the least. You can play this in draft and, you know, sit there with a 3/4 body, and every time your opponent casts an instant sorcery, hit them across the head with it, you know. All right, Ecological Appreciation. It's a X3. Interesting. Sorcery speed. It says search your library and graveyard for up to 4 creature cards with different names that each have mana value X or less, and reveal them. Okay, so a 6-drop will be pretty decent. And it says an opponent chooses 2 of them. Shuffle the chosen cards into your library and put the rest onto the battlefield. Exile this card because you don't want your opponent copying this out of the graveyard. So this is a good finisher, especially if you're ramping and you're playing a little bit of control, because you don't want the board to get cluttered up and you got 1 life by the time you play this. So a good finisher, and make sure you have some pretty good creatures, which should be like around 4. If you want to go 5 and go gangster with it, you gotta pay 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be fun. So I'm gonna give this 3 at the least, because we've seen cards similar to this and never see play, you know what I'm saying? So that is a worry. But if you do it right, you play it right, this card could be pretty daggone crucial. Hopefully your opponent just doesn't kill them. if your creatures that you choose have haste, great job. Indestructible, hexproof, even better. But if not, and your opponent wipes the board or has death touch creatures, then you paid all that mana for some mediocre creatures. So this one is not for the weak creatures. It's not just to throw some creatures out. You got to find something that will end a game for sure. So good luck. But 4 if you're that good, 3 at the least. So great job. We already seen this one. Elemental Masterpiece, 5, 6, 7 for sorcery. Create 2 4/4 blue and red elemental creature tokens. discard. Oh, okay, from your hand. So you can pay 2, discard this card, create a treasure token. I like it. I like it a lot. It's really bomb for drafting because you can just discard it, get a treasure token to kind of fix up your mana for later turns. Or if you just got mana flooded and you have all the mana, create 2 4/4s. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they don't have hexproof or nothing like that, but they're 4/4s, so they definitely ain't no push around. So I'm gonna give this one a 3 because it's right in the middle to me. Like, I can see this being in a build because you can easily just discard it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's cute. I like it. I like it. All right, we have Make Your Mark. It's a 1-drop, red or white, instant speed. Once again, the instant speed that costs 1 mana is beautiful. And it says target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When that creature dies this turn, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Now, your creature better die that turn. Do not use this to kill your opponent's creature unless you really got to, and then have your own creature survive. This creature needs to die. So if you can play this, kill your opponent's creature, and it kills yours, and you get a 3/2 at the deal, that's pretty good. I like this card. I like this card a lot, only because it's a 1-drop instant speed and you get something out of it. That right there is going to make the difference. Trust me, player, trust me. All right, we have Manifestation Sage. So 4-drop, Simic colors, rare, 2/2. Damn, they killing me with the 2/2s here. It's a 4-drop. When it enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your hand. If you're playing 1 card a turn and you play this on curve, you have about what? Maybe 6 cards? Like, don't be like dumping your hand and then turn 4 play this and have 2 cards in your hand. Then you're gonna have 2 2/2s. You don't want 2 2/2s. You want this to be like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It costs a little too much for me, honestly. And it's a rare. You want me to spend one of my rare wild cards for this? Bruh. Maybe 2 hammers at the most. I'm saying it, bro. 2 hammers at the most. All right, we have Ogier, Battle Seer. They could have just called him Battle Seer. So 5-drop, Ogre's Shaman, 3/4 haste. You can tap it and scry 1. Now this is decent. This is decent. Now, of course, this is a drafting, but this is, if I could give half hammers, this would be 2.5 because of course there's way better 5-drops. Way better 5-drops. It has haste, so it has that going for it. And if your opponent and you are just passing turns, go ahead, tap it at the end of your opponent's turn and scry 1. That's beautiful. And it has 4 toughness. It ain't no punk. You can't just, shock it. You got to actually deal with this creature. So I'm going to give it 2.5 because this is probably the better drafting cards right there. I said it, even though I'm not a drafting expert. That's the better drafting card right there. Okay, damn it. All right, Practical Research, 5-drop, instant speed. Draw 4 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an instant or sorcery card instead, which is going to be easy because this is for those, instant sorcery heavy type builds. So discard a 1-drop, drawing card, I guess, and draw 4 cards. Beautiful. I'm gonna give this one a 3 at the most. If it was a lesson, that would be even better. Come on, man. Come on, guys. All right, we have Pledge Mage, Prismary, Pledge Mage. Just call him Pledge Mage. That's easy. All right, it's a 2-drop, blue or red, however you want to mix it, and it has Defender. and it's a 3/3. And it says, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Pledge Mage can attack this turn as though it didn't have Defender. So triggering this is going to be easy, because I'm assuming you're going to be working with that Magecraft mechanic. So technically you really got a 3/3 for 2. So that's pretty decent. I'm gonna give it a 2. Normally, if it didn't have that text in the middle and it just said Defender, it'd be a 1, because you know you want to attack with your 3/3. So 2.5. All right, we have, so there are pledge mages for each set. I get it. So this is a 3-drop 2/2. Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Now this one is good. The other one, nah, I get it. But this one right here, you cast 2-3 instants in one turn. This is gonna be a headache. So this one right here is gonna get a 3 for me. And it's a 3-drop. That's pretty fair. Pretty fair. If it was a 2, even better. But 3, just right. 4, definitely not. 3, just right. And it's 3 hammers. So that works. All right. We have Rutha. I'm gonna call her Rutha. She looks like a Rutha. Artist. And it's a 3-drop legendary creature. And it's a 1/4. Pay 2. Return Rutha to its owner's hand. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets. So it's a fun way to keep bouncing her back into your hand and copying instants or sorcery. And it's a 3-drop, and it's a 4 toughness. That's all we needed. Now they get it. They get it. It needed to be a 4 toughness. I like that. I'm gonna give this one a 3. I like this one. I'm giving it a 3. All right, we have Spectacle Mage, and it's a 3-drop Bird Shaman 2/2 with flying. I don't like the toughness. For 3. Instants and sorcery spells you cast with mana value 5 or greater cost 1 less. If it was 4 or greater, I would get it. Play this on turn 3. Hope and pray that it survives on your next turn, and then your 4 and greater instants of sorceries cost 1 less, so your 5 becomes a 4 and your 4 becomes a 3. That would have been better. But 5 or greater, you're gonna have to play this turn 5 and it costs 1, so it costs 1 less to cast. So I'm gonna get this one a 2. I mean 3 if you can really get lucky. Play this on turn 4, 5, and then cast one of those 9-drop instants of sorceries. Then you're good. But other than that, it'll get shocked to hell when you play that against me. All right, then we got Explore the Vastlands. 3-drop sorcery speed, rare, and it says each player looks at the top 5 cards of their library. Reveal a land card and or an instant or sorcery card from among them. Then put the cards they revealed this way into their hand and the rest on the bottom of their library in any random order. Each player gains 3 life. Oh man. I really don't like, not only you're giving your opponent cards in her hand. Now this card will only work if your strategy is way better than your opponent's. You be like, I don't care what 3 cards they put in their hand. I don't care how much life they gain, because the cards that I'm getting is just gonna win me the game. That's this card right here. But if your opponent is like, yeah, give me 3 cards, let me gain 3 life, and they actually put that more to use than you, bro, you just whooped yourself. So I'm gonna give this a 2, especially for drafting. 2. But if you're like some sort of, Magic professional and you can be like, man, this card is broken, I'm gonna show you, then 4, I guess. But in my eyes, just 2. Then we got the other side of this card, and it's Wandering Archaic. I guess. It looked like a hike. Okay. It's a 5-drop for a 4/4. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, they may pay 2. If they don't, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for that copy. Okay. Now this side of it is way better. I get it. So you can't have 2 sides that is just like crushing it. This one right here is pretty daggone good. So I'm gonna give this a 3, a solid 3. It costs 5 for a 4/4. So, you know, the storm where it does 4 damage to all creatures and planeswalkers, this will take it out. But if you can have, you know, your opponent can't pay 2, then you're gonna benefit off their spell. So a definitely 3. Then we got Teachings of the Archaics. Okay. And it's a lesson. Finally, we get a sorcery lesson. It's a 3-drop sorcery. If an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw 2 cards. Draw 3 cards instead if an opponent has at least 4 more cards in your hand than you. So this will definitely benefit those who just kind of vomit their hand. Just bow, 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 bow. They got 1 card and your opponent is playing some sort of control. So they have like 10 cards in their hand. And they're tapped out because you don't want them to counter this. This is a nice, easy way to refill your hand. And it's a lesson, so you don't have to bulk, you know, like, you know, just have an awkward main build. This is a good card. I'm gonna get this one a 3 for sure. All right, let me take a drink. Bro, if you're still watching this, let me know in the comments. You will get a special shout out. We're already an hour and 10 minutes in. If you're watching this, let me know. Magma Obtuse is 6, 7, 8. Wow. Instant, and it's a mythic, so this better be good. This card deals 4 damage divided as you choose amongst any number of targets. Okay. Tap 2 target permanents. Create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Draw 2 cards. Or you can discard, pay 2, create a treasure token. All that for 8. That's actually pretty good. 4 damage divided as you choose amongst any number of targets, so you can't hit face. Tap 2 target permanents, then create a 4/4. If it had haste, that'd be nasty. So I'm gonna get this one. A 4 because this one right here, you're paying 8 mana. This could definitely change the whole board state. You know what I'm saying? Especially if that 4 damage can do some dirt. And it's instant speed, so do this on your opponent's turn. Kill a creature, tap 2 permanents. You get a 4/4 that you can swing in on your next turn, and you draw 2 cards. Yeah, that's 4. Bro, 4. Did we start with this one? Oh my God. Oh, we finished. Once again, if you made it to the end, let me know. I'm gonna give you a special shout out, and I'm gonna remember this in the future. So when I do some giveaways, I'm going to keep you in mind. So let me know if you watched this all the way through. If no one didn't, no one's gonna get this special thing that I'm literally just making up right now. So once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video that you're gonna be watching right now. If you don't, I understand, because you already spent like an hour with me. But if you did, then you might want to watch another one. Either way, I will see you really soon. Peace.